Okay, in this podcast, we're going to work on picture sorts with initial consonant sounds. This is one of the very beginning type of activities that you're going to do with picture sorting cards for phonetic purposes. So let's go to our cards, and you can see that we're working here with the cards on initial consonant D and initial consonant F. And the two cards at the top are the ones that we're going to have these cards sorted into. So the first thing you got to do is you've got to get children to be able to read these cards, and you got to make sure that they know the names of each of the cards. Naming the cards is extremely important so you don't have any type of confusion. So, for example, at the top, when I'm pointing at the dog, you got to make sure that they're saying dog and not puppy. All right, so you just go and point through at all the cards and they say them. So first at the top, dog, fish, doll, desk, and number 5. Down below is fork and door, duck, and fire, then fan, dice, and foot. All right, so if you had a child who was saying puppy instead of dog, or down below, let's say looking at the doll, that if the child wants to call the doll Betty because she has a doll named Betty, the child has to agree to call that picture doll. If not, you want to take it away. You want to take that card away and put it aside. You've got plenty of other cards to be able to use for this purpose. All right, let's begin. You now have to give the directions and model how to sort. I'm on slide number 4. I'm going to point to the letter D and say, what letter is this? What sound does it make? The child should say D. And notice that this is a dog. Every time you find a word making the same sound as the first letter in dog, put it in this pile here. Now over in this card, this is a fish. What does fish start with? An F, yes. And what sound does F make? F. Okay, every time you find a word making the same sound as fish, put it over here in this pile. I'm going to do the first one for you. I'm going over here and I'm getting doll. Doll has the same sound as dog, so I'm putting it in that column. Next, I'm going down and I'm getting the fan. And fan has the same sound at the beginning as fish, so I'm putting it in that pile. Okay, here are the rest of the cards. I'm giving them to you. I want you to be able to say the words out loud and put it in the right pile. Let's go on to slide number 5. Okay, so we have our cards. The child can see that how the modeling went. So the child has to say the words out loud and put it in the right pile. Your role should be just to watch the sorting. So I'm going to group all these together. They're in one big group, and I'm going to pull the cards out one by one. 5. That is like fish. Dice. Dice is like dog. Fork. Fork is like fish. Duck. Duck is like dog. Door. Door is like dog. Desk. Desk is like dog. Fire. Fire is like fish. And last, foot. Foot is like fish. All right, so we've watched it. Let's go on now to slide number 6. And we're going to do test out the students' work. First thing we're going to do here is we're going to read the cards together. So starting at the top, you want the child to read with you. It's choral reading. And you want to do it in a very fast chanting way. So it goes like this: dog, doll, dice, duck, door, desk. Next, fish, fan, 5, fork, fire, foot. All right, so if anything was out of place, the child's going to hear it through the chanting. So let's just say I'm going to add the word duck into that column. I've got it sorted in there. I'm going to temporarily remove foot and put it out of the way. So let's see what happens now when we do the chanting. Starting with dog, dog, doll, dice, door, desk. You and the child have to say those together real fast. Then fish, fan, 5, fork, fire, and duck. Okay, you can see then that chanting is going to bring that out. All right, here's some questions to ask. Question number 1. Is there anything you want to change? All right, for some children, that's going to make them really think that there must be something wrong, so they're going to want to change it. Younger children, though, are kind of slow to see their errors. They think they did the best job they could. So the question number 2 is, I'm going to go and point to the doll. And I'm going to say, here's question number 2. Why did you put this card in this pile? And the child should say, doll has the same beginning sound as dog. It has the D sound, so I put it in this column. Okay, now I'm going to go and point to the fan, and I'll say the same thing. Why did you put this card in this place? And the child will say, well, fan begins the same as fish. All right, so the child is stating a rationale for why they did it. Okay, now I'm going to go down for question number 3, and I'm going to take the duck that's in the wrong column, and I'm going to move it over to the other column. Here's what I say. Question number, no, here's the next question to be able to get at. Can I move this card, the duck card, over to the other column? Yes or no? Okay, listen to the way I state that. Can I take the duck card and move it over to the other column? Yes or no? That's sort of a neutral question. They should not be able to detect the answer. So they should come up with a response. Duck. Then they'll say either no, it belongs over there, and not be able to state a reason, or they'll say yes, it belongs over there because it begins the same as dog. Now I can go up and take one of the correct cards like dice, and I'll say just the same way, can I move this card over into the other column? Yes or no? And they should say no, dice belongs with dog because they have the same beginning sound. All right. Question number 4. I'm pointing to the fork, and I'm saying, what sound do you hear at the beginning of that word? Fork. What sound do you hear? And they should say f. Okay, so that's really the test of all of that. Okay, one more time I can then ask them to read the column words. Here I go. Dog, doll, dice, door. Remember, they're doing it with you real fast. Desk, duck. Fish, fan, 5, fork, fire, foot. All right. Now, in the case that duck was in the wrong column, now we know what we're going to sort starting our second sort. Okay, let me get ready here. All right, I'm going to get